Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys fans, today we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and pivotal moments of this NFL season, especially for our beloved Dallas Cowboys. You know, when we talk about Christmas Day football and the Cowboys, it's never just about the score. It's about what those numbers mean for the future, for the team's trajectory, and for the players who stepped up in critical moments. And trust me, what happened recently against the Washington Commanders is something that's going to resonate through the off-season and possibly shape the team's future for years to come. Imagine this, it's Christmas Day, and the Cowboys are facing a division rival in a game that, frankly, could define their playoff outlook. The atmosphere is electric, the stakes are high, and the team delivers a performance that, at least on paper, looks like their best rushing effort of the entire season. A staggering 211 yards on the ground. Now, if you're a true Cowboys aficionado, you know that rushing yards have historically been a key indicator of a team's success, especially when it comes to postseason push. But look a little closer and you'll find a story that's even more compelling than just the box score. It's about resilience, individual milestones, and the future of the Cowboys' running game. First, let's set the scene. The Cowboys coming into this game were battling inconsistencies in their rushing attack all season. We've seen flashes from players like Javontae, but injuries, especially lingering shoulder issues, hampered his ability to be the consistent workhorse we all hoped he'd become. And here's where things get really fascinating. Williams, despite aggravating that shoulder injury early in the game, managed to leave a lasting mark. Not just on the scoreboard but on his contract and his career trajectory. His performance, though cut short, was enough to trigger a hefty incentives package totaling an extra $500 and pushing his total earnings for the season to a whopping $3 million. This is a critical point to understand. Williams, at just 25 years old, is on the cusp of free agency. His performance this season, especially in recent weeks, has put him squarely in the spotlight. The question now is, will the Cowboys prioritize bringing him back, or will his breakout season and the fact that he's demonstrated he can be a true bell cow back make him too attractive for other teams to ignore? The situation is complicated because despite his injuries, Williams has proven he's capable of being the lead back, the kind of player who can carry the offense in high-pressure moments. This game was a perfect showcase for that. But let's not forget Malik Davis, who stepped in admirably after Williams left early. Davis, usually a rotational piece, had a career-defining day with 20 carries for 103 yards. That's over 5 yards per carry. And it's a performance that for many fans and analysts raises serious questions about the Cowboys' running back depth chart. His eye injury during the game added to the drama. Yet, he pushed through and delivered. It's not just about the numbers. It's about what this means for the team. The Cowboys, having struggled to find a stable running game earlier in the season, suddenly have a situation where they could be contemplating a significant shift in their backfield in the coming weeks. Now, let's analyze what this could mean moving forward. The Cowboys have always been a team that values versatility and resilience, and this game exemplifies that. Williams, despite his injury setbacks, has shown that he possesses the talent and the grit to be a primary back in the league. The fact that he's already maxed out his incentives for the season indicates he is a player who's willing to go the extra mile, or in this case, extra yards, to prove his worth. For the Cowboys, this isn't just about one game. It's about evaluating whether Williams can be a foundational piece for their future plans, especially with the NFL off-season approaching. You might be wondering, what does this mean for the team's cap situation? Well, with his incentives maxed out, Williams earned a total of $13 million for the year, which is a pretty solid deal for a player of his caliber, especially considering his age and potential. But the real question is whether Dallas will be willing to invest more to keep him around long term. His breakout performance, despite the injury, has undoubtedly caught the attention of the front office, coaching staff, and the entire league. If he continues to perform at this level, the Cowboys might face a tough decision. Do they prioritize resigning him or explore other options that could be available in free agency? This brings us to the broader context of the Cowboys' running game and offensive strategy. Over the years, Dallas has been known for its dynamic passing attack led by Dak Prescott, but the team has often struggled to establish a consistent ground game. That's been a recurring theme, the inability to rely on the run in critical moments, especially in the playoffs. Now, with Williams showing he can be a workhorse, the Cowboys might be looking at a new identity. Imagine a balanced defense where Prescott can lean on a reliable running back like Williams, or even Malik Davis if he continues to impress. This shift could be the key to unlocking more consistent offensive production in the postseason. But let's not forget about the defensive side of things, which has been a mixed bag this season. The Cowboys' defense has often kept them in games, but they've also shown vulnerabilities that could be exploited by more potent offenses. The victory over the Commanders was a narrow one, 30-23. And while the rushing attack was dominant, there's still a lot of work to be done on the defensive front to make the team truly elite. Still, the focus right now is on the offense, particularly the running game, because it's clear that this aspect of the team is evolving right before our eyes. Now, turning back to the game itself. What really stands out is how the Cowboys managed to control the clock and wear down the Commanders' defense with that ground attack. Although Dak Prescott contributed as usual with his steady leadership and efficient passing, it was the running game that made the difference. The 211 rushing yards are a season high, and that kind of production can be a gain share as the team heads into the final stretch of the season and potentially the playoffs. This kind of performance raises the question, can the Cowboys sustain this level of rushing efficiency, especially if Williams is limited or unavailable? Malik Davis's emergence gives the team a glimmer of hope, but consistency and health will be key. And speaking of health, let's talk about the injury concerns. Javonte Williams' shoulder injury is a significant issue, especially considering his age and the fact that he's already hit his incentive thresholds. If he's unable to play in Week 18, the Cowboys will need Malik Davis to step up once again. That game could be a showcase for whether Davis is ready to take on a more prominent role, and it will also influence the team's off-season plans. Will Dallas prioritize signing a veteran or draft a new back? Or do they see Davis as the future at RB1? These are questions that only time can answer, but his performance on Christmas Day certainly made a strong case for himself. Now, let's put this in context with the recent history of the Cowboys. Over the last few seasons, Dallas has been a team with high expectations, but a tendency to underperform in critical moments. They've had playoff heartbreaks, coaching debates, and questions about whether their roster is built for sustained success. But this season, there's a sense of renewed optimism, especially with Prescott playing some of his best football, and the defense showing resilience. The emergence of players like Williams and Davis adds new layers to the team's identity. Could this be the year Dallas finally breaks through and makes a deep playoff run? That's what fans are asking themselves. And this recent rushing performance certainly gives them hope. When we compare the Cowboys to other teams in the league, especially those with strong rushing attacks like the Eagles or the 49ers, it's clear that Dallas is starting to close the gap. Their ability to ground and pound effectively, especially in a divisional game on Christmas, signals a shift in their offensive philosophy. It also puts pressure on other contenders to match their physicality. Moreover, Williams' contract incentives and his future free agency status create a compelling subplot that could influence off-season negotiations not just with Dallas, but with other suitors across the league. Looking ahead, Cowboys face a pivotal Week 18, which could determine their playoff seeding or even their qualification. Will Williams be healthy enough to carry the load again? Will Malik Davis continue to impress and possibly earn the starting role? And what about the team's overall strategic adjustments? These questions are at the forefront of fans' minds, and rightly so. The team's coaching staff will have a tough decision to make, balancing player health, game strategy, and future planning. Furthermore, the coaching staff's tactical approach in this game was noteworthy. The emphasis on establishing the run early and often set a tone that the Commanders couldn't match. It was a classic example of how a well-executed ground game can control the tempo and keep the opposing offense off the field. The offensive line also deserves credit as they opened lanes that allowed Williams and Davis to gain significant yardage. This cohesion on the line is a promising sign for the team's offensive identity moving forward. Now, a quick reflection. What does this tell us about the Dallas Cowboys' long-term prospects? It's clear that the team is at a crossroads with key players like Williams shining, but also dealing with injuries. The emergence of Malik Davis as a reliable backup adds depth, but the front office will need to consider whether they want to invest heavily in their backfield or explore other options in free agency or the draft. The fact that Williams has already maxed out his incentives, earning a tidy sum, might make him more open to negotiating a new deal if the Cowboys express interest. After all, his performance this season has proven he can be a gain share, and staying in Dallas could be mutually beneficial. As we approach the off-season, the narrative surrounding the Cowboys will focus heavily on whether they can replicate or even improve upon this rushing success. Will they prioritize resigning Williams? Will Malik Davis be given more opportunities? Or will they look to add fresh talent through the draft? The answers to these questions will shape the team's identity for the next few seasons. And let's not forget the importance of health. Injuries are part of the game, but managing them effectively could be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. Now, I want to draw your attention to the upcoming schedule. The Cowboys will face some tough opponents in the final weeks, and maintaining this rushing momentum will be crucial. The balance between a potent run game and a sharp passing attack will define their chances of postseason success. Additionally, the team's performance in away games versus home games will be a key factor. Historically, Dallas has been strong at home, but their ability to travel and execute under pressure on the road will be tested. The coaching staff's game planning, especially in terms of offensive schemes and defensive adjustments, will be under scrutiny. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something important. This game, this performance, and the individual milestones achieved by players like Javontae Williams and Malik Davis aren't just about one game. They're about laying the foundation for what could be a transformative offseason. The decisions made now will echo for years, impacting the team's roster, salary cap, and overall strategy. The Cowboys have shown they can run the ball effectively when needed. And that's a gain share in today's NFL where pass-heavy offenses often dominate. But what's most exciting is how this game has opened up new questions, new possibilities, and a renewed sense of optimism that maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys are on the cusp of something special. So, as we look ahead to the final weeks of the season, remember that every yard gained, every injury managed, and every contract incentive triggered has a story behind it. It's about resilience, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. The Cowboys are not just fighting for a playoff spot. They're shaping their identity for years to come. And I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead. It's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Looking into the future, it's impossible to ignore the potential implications of this rushing performance on the Cowboys' offseason plans. Will Jerry Jones and the front office see enough in Williams' effort to invest heavily in him? Or will they explore other avenues, perhaps drafting a running back early or signing a veteran free agent? The NFL is a league of adjustments, and this game might be a catalyst for some bold moves. The team's offensive scheme has shown it can adapt, and with Prescott running a balanced attack, the key is maintaining health and consistency. And what about the fans? The energy after this game was palpable. Social media lit up with praise for Williams and Davis, with many believers feeling that the Cowboys finally found a running game they can rely on. That's a gain share in itself. The morale boost that comes from seeing your team control the clock and dominate on the ground. It creates a sense of confidence that transcends the game, fueling belief that the Cowboys are capable of competing with the best in the league. In conclusion, this Christmas Day victory isn't just a flash in the pan. It's a sign of things to come. The Cowboys have shown they can run the ball at an elite level, even under challenging circumstances. The performances of Javontae Williams and Malik Davis have opened the door to new possibilities. And now it's up to the team's leadership to capitalize on this momentum. The off-season will be crucial, and the decisions made in the coming months will determine whether Dallas can take the next step and become true contenders. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. So stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news.